I will verify momentarily. Let's take a quick look. Okay, I see it, but I don't see an image yet, so I know enough to wait till I see an image. And when I see an image, then I know we're good. So let's just give this a second. And still waiting. Does show excellent connection, though. That's generally a good sign. At least so far it has been. So we'll just give that a second. There's a bit of a delay. I know that, so that's okay. And let's see. Oh, I should do a quick test. It's always good to do. Oh, I see something happening. Hey, there it is. All right, now did my test go through? Test 2. I think I do need to enter. So why am I not seeing it there? Oh, I probably have to do a refresh on that. Let's just see. Okay. Oh, yeah, test 2. Okay, I see it. So let me say test. And there it is. Okay, so I see it from there. Okay, that's interesting. Test. It's strange that I still don't see it from the other one. It's really weird. Oh, unless I'm supposed to be saying live chat. Oh, there they go. There they go. All right, they're showing up. That's because I didn't have live selected. Okay, we're good. So I think we're okay there. Let's do a quick test of the Twitch. Test. And, let's make sure. I'll bet you that one's not live either. Oh, wait a minute. Where'd it go? Hello? Oh, show app. Yeah, sure. Come on. Show app. What? Oh, come on. Really? Oh, so it didn't like that it didn't like how I closed that. Okay, no problem. We'll reopen it. I don't know why it's being so particular this evening, but that's okay. So we'll say activate. Okay, and we have to switch. Now I know we have to switch to live chat. So there's that window, live chat, there it is, and activate. And that is by default a live chat. So let's do a quick test again and make sure. Test 2. There it is. And we'll do one more in here. So we'll call this test 3 since technically it is 3. And we'll give that, there it is. All right, we're good. We're good. And it's showing up in the multi-stream stuff. Well, I don't need that. All right, good. We're ready to go. Okay, so this is going to be a relatively short stream, probably about 40 minutes or so, because this is really, I'm just going to be working on some ideas. Oh, sorry, I do have to, just in case anybody actually cares, let's go ahead and do a quick post of this, all the different places that we have to do post of things now, which is right here, and next, and here. Luckily, I have all this pretty much loaded up, so this will not take me very long at all. That, all right. Let's jump over here, and knuckily is not a word. Luckily, I have to do nothing more. That's what I was trying to combine all my words together. Then click enter a bunch of times, which I will probably be able to actually do before I even know what that sentence. And I did. Done. Okay, that's going. So the only other place I have to post is on Blue Sky. Oh, I got my alerts. Excellent. I am gradually getting this where it needs to be. I'm getting there. You know, I'm figuring all this out, but it is slowly dialing in. But slow and steady wins the race. So all I have to do now is place this right here. And give that a minute, and then I will go right here and go to here. Come on, refresh. There it is. And we're done. So now I can move my keyboard out of the way, and I can go ahead and get my iPad into place. And then we can go ahead and get this thing on the road, since it's going to be a shorter one. I don't want to waste too much more time. Okay, so yeah, we can close this. We can go ahead and close that. And we can go ahead and get this going. And we'll turn that on. Oh, whoops. Hold on. I don't know if I actually selected the reflector thing yet, so I probably didn't. I didn't. Sorry. So for a minute, you're not going to see anything, but that'll get fixed right now. There we go. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Everything's good. All right. Everything's working. Sweet. Okay. So, as you can see, this is the image that I did for a person who's commissioned a card. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do insert a photo. I'm going to pick that. And this is the card as it exists today. So basically what I have to do now is get a background going. And I want to play around with background ideas. So I'll do that. That are, you know, I'm kind of going to do something I think similar to what I planned. But I just want to dial this in a bit so I can get it about the same size. Not going to be exact because it never is exact once you actually draw it. That just doesn't work. So, okay. So basically, let's fade this out a little bit. And you can see, so my original idea was to have kind of these, I don't know, lines of power or whatever you want to call them coming off. And that still is my plan, but I have to figure out what my colors are going to be. Now, my instinct is to go with like black and red. And that might be what I do. But I wanna just see. I just want to see. So let's go ahead and, oh boy, it is finally cooling down in Northern California. So the air conditioning isn't running all the time. It just went off. I'm so used to it being on all the time. It's sort of weird that it went off. All right, so let's go ahead and put a layer here. And let's just see, because they're not going to be this wavy. So I think I want to make them more fracture-y kind of things like this. But also, one thing I am going to do that's a little different is I'm going to try to do, hold on, I got to do this a little bit. See, I want to just kind of have these lines coming off. I like these lines. But most of the time when I do these, I kind of do, I don't know, simplified power lines, if you want to call them that. But this time I'm actually going to shoot them through because again, if you didn't see the earlier streams I did on this particular image, this person asked for it to be in the new Phyrexian style of the cards, which is the newest releases, which they did. I did see that somebody had done. I don't know if they actually instituted the character though. Somebody did a new Phyrexian version of Sheoldred, which was really interesting. Which is partially what this is based on. And also just the overall theme, because it's very much based on, I'm going to mispronounce the name, Basinski, I think. Polish, I believe he was Polish painter. And H.R. Giger. So, which I like both of those artists immensely. I can't pronounce Basinski's last name. I always screw it up, but I think his artwork is extraordinarily good and striking and just really, really, I mean, very much like a Giger type of thing. But also very, very different. It's interesting when different artists have things that kind of echo each other, even if there's really, I don't think the two of them really ever interacted. Giger was, seemed like, I shouldn't say was, I didn't know him, but he seemed like a very kind of antisocial individual, which I don't even say as a criticism, it's just a statement. I think even he had said that, you know, he found himself to be a strange individual, and so he wasn't much of a socializer. So I don't know that he ever actually met Basinski. And I also don't know, like, Basinski, I think, may have died young. I don't know. I just know his work. I don't actually know much about Basinski himself. And I really am sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, because there's a very good chance I'm mauling it to pieces by not, you know, checking if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So I'm sorry if I am. But great, great artist. Wonderful work. So what I want to do here is, let me turn that off. So normally I would just kind of do alternating colors for something like this, but I think what I want to do is almost a thing, because the new Phyrexia stuff is really a lot of white, red, which you can see is what I've got with Sheoldred here. The victim has got a color to him. White, red, and black, or really dark gray, depending on what artist interpretation you're looking at. And I kind of like the idea of doing that and doing these fractures in between the larger colors that are either going to be probably like a dark gray or a black, and then, or maybe white. Maybe there'll be fractures of white. See, that's what I want to play around with and see what it looks like. So, because it's hard to know what something's really going to look like until you see all of it done. And so it may be that I'll say, oh no, I can't have that much. there's too much between the red and the gray. It's too heavy. I need to soften that up, and maybe I need to do white and red. But my gut instinct is to go with minimal white and mostly like a deep dark red and a dark gray because, and I'll explain. Actually, let me finish this first, and then I'll explain. It's really because Shieldred herself is a lot of white and red, and so I want the white to really pop. Now the red will too, because my plan is if I do the heavy background reds, the reds will be a very dark red, so they will not look like, that's too close. They will not look like the reds of her body, like these muscles, the muscle lines, or whatever you want to call those. So I think I'll be okay with the reds, because I don't want to have her reds get lost in the background reds. Now, I could do an outline of her, and I might do that, but I know I have a really deep red. And I think if I just do the deep red, that will be enough to keep it from blending in with her, because her reds are pretty... I don't know if I would say they're bright, but they're very bold. Whereas if I can do the deep reds that I've got, and I might, kind of dull them out with some grays and stuff, like literally mix the colors in there. And if I do that, I think it's going to stop it from becoming distracting from Shieldred herself. I think that will work. So that's what I'm kind of workshopping here, is just what I want this to look like. Because again, this is a little bit unusual in that I haven't done a new Phyrexian anything before. This is the first new Phyrexia anything I'm doing. And to do it with a character that I know well, because I've drawn her a lot now in this new style, is I like it. I like the idea of her in this new style. It makes a lot of sense for the character. I have to admit, the only thing about Shieldred that I find myself wanting to kind of reinterpret is her kind of this snake body thing. It's not that I think it's bad. I don't. It's just I don't know. I don't know. There's something about it where I think, there's a different way to go about that. That's very, very presumptuous of me to say. What do I know? And it's not me criticizing the design. It really isn't, because I've seen many really, really good versions of this body. I think it's me, because I can't do a good version of it. Now, what I'm going to do here is it is time for me to feed my dog, and she is staring at me. So I'm going to just let you look at this, and actually what I'm going to do is dial this up so you can see, just get a good look at that, and kind of consider what the background's going to be. I'm going to mute my mic just so you don't hear all the kibble noise and everything. I'll be back in probably about 3 minutes. So just take a look at that, because that's what I got to figure out how to balance correctly, and it's going to be an interesting trick. I'll be right back. All right. Well, what was it? Yeah, 3 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes. Okay, so you can see what we've got here, right? So the trick is that background. Yeah, I got to figure it out. But let's go ahead and start playing with the actual background. And what I'm going to do here is let's go ahead and I do have a red that's like this. So let's start with the idea that the white will be the cracks. You know, so the white will be in these. Well, okay, well that's a terrible way to do that. But let's start coloring. Well, that's a weird red. That's more of a brown. Let's make this an actual deep red. Oh, is it because it's in the color space? Hold on. Let me see what that is. This in a weird color space? Generic. Let's CMYK. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. It's fine. Let's just leave it. That's okay. That's not going to matter. This is really just for... See what CMYK does? Weird stuff with colors. Just does weird stuff with colors. That's probably more accurate. It's a weird red, though. Even though I would call that a red. So let's just put a lot of this red in here. But you see what I mean about this red is very different than the red that I used for Shieldred's body. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of versions of these, and we're going to see what we think. And because I think I just might... Oh, you know what? But I wasn't going to do red on every panel. So hold on. I got to do red. I want to do red and black alternating. I mean, without a doubt, one of these things is going to... Oh, I know what I can do. What I should do is move this up, and I should make this a multiply layer, and then it looks more like what it's going to actually look like. Yep, that's it. So, I got it. That's what I should have done right from the beginning. Yeah, because see, now it's behind it, which is good, because I want it to somewhat reflect what the actual card will look like. So I know I want to do a black as one of the main things, mostly because the black will balance out how much of the inside is white. Because on a lot of the other Shieldred cards I've done, I'm just doing this as a quick reference of where I need the color. Oh no, not there, not there, here. On the other ones, I've done a lot of dark colors for her, a lot of blacks. But in this one, it's a lot of whites, because in the new Phyrexia thing, the armor on many of these characters is white. So it's an interesting change from what I'm used to the character looking like. And that's where, hold on, I'm just going to feed that up to there, and that feeds to here, and that would feed, hold on, into there, and there. Okay. So yeah, this is an interesting change for what I'm used to this character being, color-wise. It's a lot different. Was that delicious? That's my dog in the background. She may burp very loudly. If she does, sorry, you're going to hear it. Oh, I do have to adjust. I have to remember before the next stream, I want to adjust the sound stream thing to leave. Hi. Hi, pretty girl. Relax. Hi. I'm streaming. Yeah. I don't know what you think is... Okay, I might have a little speck of peanut butter on my hands. But it can't be that much. I gave you a bunch for her medication. Peanut butter is... If you have a dog and you can't get them to eat their pills, peanut butter generally does it. Certainly works for us. So just a tip. I remember there was a vet nurse, one of the nurses at the vet. She told us that, and that was the magic trick. I mean, it seems one of those things that when you hear it, I was like, oh yeah, of course, common sense. Dogs like peanut butter, or whatever thing your dog likes, if it isn't peanut butter for some reason. Although I don't know that I've met a dog that doesn't like peanut butter. But yeah, because a lot of people will do the bread thing where you roll it up in a piece of bread, and that... Whoa. Oh no, my thing was off. My alternating things were off. Okay, I gotta fix this. These are now all off because I made one mistake. What a non-surprise that is if you've watched this stream before. But yeah, the bread thing can work, but a lot of times then they crunch the pills when they ideally want them to swallow them. So I have to cough really quick. There we go. Just want to make sure I'm muted. So yeah, peanut butter has been the lifesaver for that. Okay, there we go. Now I think we're where we need to be. You know what? This paint thing is way... Oh, no, this is not even the paint. This is the what do you call it, brush? Eek. All right, now let's go back to here. Let's drop it to 8. There we are. I'm just keeping an eye to make sure... Okay, no chats. Just checking. To make sure that my thing hasn't frozen, which so far it hasn't. Good sign, good sign. We'll take it. Yeah. So peanut butter is the trick. For us, that has been the thing that has worked. Okay, so see what I mean about, and then in between, just so you can see what I'm thinking here, let's go up and let's do, these would be black. These areas would be in black. Because again, I think that will offset how much of her armor is white, which is just... It's a new way of me looking at this character because I'm so used to her being very dark colors. Because when I did the card originally, I had used a... I may have talked about this before, so if I did and you heard this before, sorry, I'm not trying to repeat myself, but I used a bright kind of purplish color. And the art director came back and said, yeah, this character shouldn't have bright colors. And so they wanted me to dial the brightness down. I didn't, and it looked great. I have no complaints about their suggestions. Were all, I mean, they know the characters. It's one of these things when you do work like a commission for a company like this that has you working on an established property. You have to not take anything they say as personal. Because what they're doing is they're trying to make sure that the character... Oh, look at that. I screwed that up again. Huh? Oh, no, I didn't. I just didn't erase the other thing. You know, they know the character. They have the... You know, the proper way of what the character is supposed to look like, and you really have to make sure you're serving that. And that's what I mean about you can't take it personally. They come back and say, no, that's wrong. They're really usually not saying it's wrong as in, oh, you're doing a terrible job. What they're saying is it doesn't fit what we need it to be. And that's, listen, you want that. You want them to tell you that. You don't want that to be a surprise. You don't want to, I mean, I would have, I mean, if somebody had not said something and it had gotten to the end of that process and then they just flat rejected it. They rejected one sketch that I did because it didn't go with another more established artist's interpretation of it. I had no issue with it. I still got paid for it. But basically they looked at what this artist had done. And what I think later thinking about it, I think it was more the case that I didn't really get their notes correctly. I don't think it was as much the other artist thing. I think it really was that I didn't, what they were telling me I didn't properly render into that image. And so they decided that they would just go ahead and not use a second piece of that artwork. I have no hard feelings about that. I really don't, because I saw what the other artist did, and yes, it was very, very different from what I did. And just being objective about it, that other artist, better than me. So they went with the better version of the artwork. And that's what they should do, because that's, as far as what they're concerned, that's the important thing. Not my feelings. It's, okay, this has to look right. And it has, because, you know, there's, I don't know, however many millions of people are going to see this stuff. That's what matters, not whether I think that I did a better version, which I didn't. But let's just say I was delusional and thought that, which I did not. But even if I somehow was like, no, I did a better version. Yeah, so what? We don't care what you think. You're one person. Our customer base is however many millions. And they're used to a character that looks like this, or we've advertised or, you know, described the character as looking like this. It has to look like this. So, you know, and just to be honest about it, that was, of all of the 4 images they had me do, that one was my least favorite. Because I never really felt like I had an idea of what that was supposed to be. It was the one, and I'm not even gonna name it, but this character never really, it never seemed all that interesting a character to me. It felt like a very kind of... Because in any of these types of games, you have... I don't want to say filler characters. I don't think that's the right way to say it. But there's definitely a lesser tier of character. And then there's the upper tiers of character. I got very lucky. I got to work on Shieldred, who in that edition of the game was one of the top tier characters. Well, I guess still is. I keep forgetting. It's just because she died in the continuity doesn't mean you can't still play her as a character. I think you still can. But in any event, whichever way, I got to work on one of the better characters out of that whole roster. So I'm not complaining about the fact that one character didn't exactly seem all that interesting to me. Yeah, so what? I got to work on Shieldred. A character that by far is the one that, as far as my stuff goes, people are the most enthusiastic about. So I'm just going to go ahead and shut up. And like I said, I still got paid. It was still a good experience. I got to kind of play around with the character, do something a little different. But yeah, I really think that they looked at it and they said, yeah, this doesn't really fit what we want this character to be. And that is an absolutely correct thing for them to say, because in the end, this is not my characters I'm drawing, this is their characters. And just like anything else, you have to serve what the customers, or the client in this case. Wow, it's so weird to think of a major company as my client. Yeah, it's strange. But that's with commission work, that's where you end up, is okay, this has to be what the client wants it to be. Otherwise, no matter how good or bad I think something is, it's really irrelevant. That's not being paid to be the one making those decisions. That's what their art director's for, and they make those decisions. My job is to try to fulfill the mandate of the art director in a way that I think is artistically successful, something I can look at and be proud of, and also that they like. And look, I got 3 out of 4 on that. I can't really complain. That's pretty stunning, really, for somebody like me who's never done this type of work, or at least not on this scale. Certainly not on this scale. So, I ain't complaining. You know what? I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to merge this down. I'm going to go ahead and erase those parts I don't want, just so that this is easier to look at. So yeah. Where? I don't even know how I started on that. Oh yeah, so the new Phyrexian thing. This style is really interesting. Oh, I know where I'm sorry. I know where I got on this. So yeah, I'm used to making her children have dark armor, because that was when I did that lighter purple version, which I think I've showed off on a stream. It's probably a long time ago though. I don't know if it's still on the iPad here, so otherwise I'd show you. But that early version, she had very bright, well, bright for what it was armor. It's not really bright armor, but for the character it was bright armor, and that's when they came back and said, yeah, Shieldred's armor should not be this light. You know, can you darken it down? And I did, and so it was the armor, and to the point where actually they had me darken the armor twice. And I thought, wow, they're making that really dark, because I was kind of wondering if it would show up really well on the card. And I think it showed up okay. I feel like it was probably, in my opinion, and only my opinion, maybe was darker than it should have been. But, again, my opinion means nothing in this. Not a thing. And in the end, they still were happy with my work. I still got paid very well for my work. And a lot of people have gotten to see it. So I am not saying a word. That's what I mean. Is that's at a point you have to sit there and go, okay, what is the important thing here? Is it that, you know, I'm right, whatever that would mean in this case, which it wouldn't mean anything, about, you know, saying, oh, it should be this way. Oh, wait, I thought the screen, no, it's still there. Or is it that, you know, you have a job that completes where the client is happy with you and might come back to you again. I hope sometime they come back to me and do something. I would love to do more work. You know, if my style fits what they're trying to do. That's always the trick. Because, you know, Magic has some stunning kind of classical artists who just do wild stuff. And my style is definitely, I just honestly about it, I was surprised they came to me. Because I don't feel like my style really is anything like what they normally have. So I was thrilled, but I will admit, I thought it was a scam at first. I think I've told this story. Where when I first got the email from the art director, I was positive it was a scam. I thought, yeah, no, magic is not coming to me for anything. This is not real. This is somebody trying to get my social security number or something like that. And not until I did some research and really looked and said, oh no, this person exists and they are in fact in this position at this company. And then I responded like, oh, okay, are you sure you got the right person? Is there another artist with my name that maybe you meant to talk to? But no, it was actually me. Really, really stunning. I still look at that and I'm still amazed. As I speak to you right now, I'm still amazed that happened at all. Because it just seems so wild to me. Somebody who has no relationship with that company whatsoever that gets picked to do this thing. It's crazy. And that's why, no matter what, put your stuff out there. Because you never know. You really don't. The right person just has to look at it and say, yeah, you know what? I like what this person's doing. I want to see what they do with, X, Y, or Z. That's what happened to me. It can happen to anybody. Because what makes art so wonderful is that everybody can see it differently. And so some people will look at something, even most people might look at something and say, yeah, that's not good. That's garbage. But all it takes is the right person to look at it and say, no, actually, I like that. And that one person will probably make up for all the people who said, nah, I don't like it. It does happen. And that really is the best way to look at it, is if you get anybody who looks at your stuff and gets some kind of enjoyment out of it, well, then you've done it. You have succeeded. Doesn't mean that you're going to be able to go out and buy a car with that good feeling. Unfortunately, in the creative pursuits, money is the tough thing to get. But if you can get somebody that responds to what you do, to your art, whatever your output is, that is worth something. Unfortunately, you can't put what that something is in the bank, but you shouldn't just dismiss it because it's not money. Don't let that be the thing where you determine how worth something was doing. It shouldn't be that. It should be if somebody gets something out of what you did. That really should be the metric. And honestly, in a fair world, that would bring money. That would be the reason why you have money, is because you managed to reach somebody. Unfortunately, that's just not the way the creative world works. Which I wish I could tell you otherwise. I really wish I could, but that's just how it is. So, but like I said, that you can't let that be the whole judgment on it, because I've gotten really wonderful notes from people who could not afford to get a commissioned work or anything like that, but still took the time to write a message saying that they liked my work. That's fine. I don't want somebody to spend money they don't have. And that still means a lot to me. It is incredible to me that somebody would even spend 5 minutes saying, hey, I really like your work. Like, that's great. And as I said, I would never say to somebody, oh yeah, you can find them. No, I would never say anything like that. That's fine. You write me a note, perfectly fine. I would rather people spend the money on stuff they need rather than things that they want. If the time comes where they want to be able to spend that money and they have it, that's a different thing. But I would not tell anybody, oh yeah, don't get that new pair of shoes that you need so that you can walk properly, or don't buy food for a week or something just to get a card. There's nothing worth that. Nothing at all. So, yeah. So yeah, we'll see. I should at some point in the near future, I've been meaning to just drop that art director a note and just say hello and see if she's knows of anything that might be a good fit for me. Might not. There's a lot of different Magic stuff going on. So I know they have lots of stuff going on, but they also probably have a huge stable of artists that they can pick from. So this thing that got me the work was the stained glass thing, that I had done these images that were in like a stained glass. I only ever did one. The one that I posted was really the only one I ever did. That wasn't the Magic stuff, I mean. And this art director came across it, and just based on, this is what I mean about post it, even if it's something you don't usually do, because I certainly never did, still really don't do a lot of things in a stained glass style, but I had done this one piece, and it so happened that they were doing cards and they wanted these stained glass variants of them. And you know, it's funny now. It's funny to think about this now, but at one point they asked me, well, how many cards do you want to do? And I said 4. And I thought, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do 4. And now thinking of it, why did I not say, how many would you like to give me, and see what the number was, and then work down from there if I didn't think I could do it? But instead, I stupidly said 4 when I should have said, well, how many would you be willing to give me at one time? And then if they came back and said 20, I'd go, okay, well, I can't do 20, but I can do, I don't know, 10. Instead, I said 4. And I really should have I should not have named a number right off the bat, because I probably could have done... Oh, it's interesting to think about this. I realistically could probably have done 8. Just done 8 in a way where I didn't feel like I was racing through and kind of cutting corners. I probably could have done 8 cards. I feel like 8 would have been a good number. I mean, I'm sure there would have been a lot of pressure with that. It would not have been a walk in the park, but you know, there's a balancing act there where you don't want to, because I got Shieldred pretty quick. Like I tuned in on that one pretty quickly. Like I figured out what the approach was there pretty fast. Lagomos too. I feel like Lagomos was a pretty easy one. Because even though, unfortunately, Lagomos is not a very popular card, which I kind of sad about, because I think the design is so neat, and I like that card that I did, but I know it's just not a very powerful character, so a lot of people don't bother. But I really like the backstory of that character, and I feel like that one keyed in pretty quick too, although honestly, just to be honest about it, I don't love the fire monsters I made on that card. I really don't. In fact, when I did my variant version of Lagomos, I didn't use those monsters at all. They're not there. They're not anywhere on the variant piece that I did, because I just didn't like them. I did them because I felt like that was an expected element, but I didn't like them. I didn't, and not that I don't like the idea of fire monsters. I'm fine with that. I didn't like how they came out. I never felt like I had a really good grasp on what I was trying to do there. I would probably do them very differently if I did them now. I, in fact, would not make them nearly as... They're pretty humanoid looking. I mean, they just look like big hulking fire monsters. I would not do that again. I would do something different. Yeah, I would not do the hulking fire monsters again. I would take a different approach to it. Again, fine. That's like I said, I think that's what they wanted. That's no problem. I did what was asked. And I don't think it came out bad. I don't think that they were terrible. I just didn't really click with them all that much. It was not my favorite thing that I did. But again, this is minor stuff. I'm not really even it's not even a complaint. It's just yeah, you know, if I was going to redo that, I'd probably do that particular part differently. But I do feel like I probably could have done 8 cards, and that would have been all right. Probably could have done it. I say that now. It's easy to say that now. I don't know if in the moment that would have worked out, but you know, it's what it is. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm in the black area. Here I am. Would have been interesting, that's for sure. Where are we here? We're at about 40 minutes, so I'll probably going to wrap this up. So this may actually be the next stream as well, as kind of doing some looking at this. But this, you get an idea of what I'm talking about with the back area here. And see, I do think those darker areas are going to pop the rest of the image out. I do think that's probably, this is probably more or less what I'm going to do. Because I do think this is probably, did I punch that all the way back down? Oh, well, I didn't. But I can, what I can do is I can push the brightness down on that just so it blends in more. Or actually what I should do is I should do the curves on it so that it's darker. There we go. Yeah, see now the blacks, they go in more. But I think that's going to be the way to go. I really do. I think doing the dark and the red as opposed to white, because that way the white armor on her is going to stand out better. I really think that's the... Oh, I have to cough again. Hold on a minute. I do think that's going to be the better decision. The more I do this, the more I think about it, the more that makes sense to me as the way to go. So that will likely be it. Likely. Yeah. All right. I guess all the reds. Yeah, see, I like that black. I think that's gonna make her, and it goes into her black halo. There's a lot of reasons why I think the black is the right way to do this. Yeah, I think so. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this stream to a close. Because like I said, I was only aiming to go for about 40 minutes. So I'm gonna go, I'm gonna get dinner started, because now I'm hungry. My dog ate. And now I'm going to go make dinner for myself and my wife, because I bought got some new interesting pasta sauce to try. So I'm going to go do that because I'm starting to get hungry. So yeah, I will continue this though on the next stream, but I think this is what it's going to be. What I'm going to do is let me do a quick crop in on this. Just because it'll make it easier to not see all that white area. So if we do that, and I do that, see? I think that's going to work. I think that's going to work. And in fact, I can black all this out, because even those white lines, but see, like those lines are kind of what I'm mimicking in here. So I think that's going to work. I think that is going to be the right way to go with this. So that is what I'm going to, I intend to continue in the next stream, is going through this and seeing how it looks. But I think barring, but this is also a good reason to not look at it for a bit and see what I actually think. But I'm pretty sure this is what it's going to be. So just do this, and there we go, and there. So see, I think that's the winner. I think that's going to be it. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for stopping by. Whether you're watching live or later does not matter to me. I just appreciate you being here. And I wish I could get that to fade properly, but so far I can't figure out a way to do it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and bring this stream to a close. We'll come back and we'll look at this again. If you're watching live, it'll be in a couple of days. If you're not, well, actually, the videos post within 2 days of each other, too, normally, unless it's a Thursday, and then it'll be on a Tuesday. But it'll be no more than 4 days. So it'll either be a couple days. No, either way, it's no more than 4. 2 or 4. It's always 2 or 4. So anyway, thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate you coming by, watching whenever you do. And go find somebody else who's doing something creative. Or do something creative yourself, ideally, if you can. Otherwise, go enjoy somebody else's creativity, because it is good for your mind, your body, and your soul. And on that note, once again, thanks for coming by. There will be another stream in a couple days if you're watching live. Otherwise, there's a lot of stuff at this point on the YouTube channel. So there's time-lapse illustrations you can watch, older streams. I try to describe them all pretty well so you know what they are. But I'm not the greatest writer, so I apologize if I don't do the greatest job of that. Anyway, now I'm just babbling. So once again, thanks for being here. And until the next stream, have a creative rest of your day. Yeah. I don't know why I threw that in there. Well, I already said go do something creative or go find somebody creative. Go do that. Go do that. Keep the creativity train rolling. Anyway, now I am babbling. So again, thanks for being here. Till next time, take care.